This conference will now be recorded.
Is my voice clear, guys? Hello.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just waiting for someone to confirm on. So otherwise, I cannot proceed. It will be like one way. Yeah. I see still people are coming in. Let's do one thing. Let's wait for 1 hour or else just a couple of minutes more to get started. Yeah, just give 2 more minutes, guys. We'll exactly start in another 2 minutes. So meantime, I will share my screen and just a moment. Okay then, let's get started, guys. Hello, guys. Hi, everyone. This is Ajay, your trainer. Welcome to the first session of our Selenium test automation. I hope you guys, we already met 1 week back on demo regarding our Selenium test automation. Uh, I'm sure everyone is there, or else someone might be like new persons also, like who could not attend the demo as well. So no worries. So this is going to be our first session, and from today onwards, we are going to learn our Selenium test automation. So before that, anyway, let me quickly so provide you what are all things we are going to learn as part of this entire course. Okay, so this course is designed for learning Selenium as a tool for automating different web applications. Okay, so let's say I just mentioned, or I just designed day wise course contents, guys, so that you guys, guys can see my screen, and what are all things we are going to learn from day 1 to total. It is designed for 34 days. So here and there, anyway, it will either increase or decrease, but so this mainly primarily this course is for 30 to 34 days. 30 to 34 working days in the sense session days. It's not going like so most of the time we won't be having sessions on weekends, Saturday and Sunday mostly. If required, I think there will be some classes on Saturday itself, and Sunday mostly it will be off. Okay, so this is how we are going to learn. First, initially we'll learn about Selenium introduction things. So some basic concepts about Selenium, and then as I mentioned at this course, we are going to learn Selenium with Java. So I know most of the persons are from non-technical background, or from manual testing or something, right? So that's where I designed this course to even teach you guys core Java concepts. So basically basically like which are all the concepts required for our Selenium test automation. So those Java concepts will be discussed during almost like 10 days for 10 days, and then again we will jump into the Selenium advanced some core concepts Selenium, and then there will be some advanced concepts on Selenium as well. Like if you see data driven testing or TestNG as a framework, and Selenium grid, and what are all different testing frameworks, and how to design and develop a simple test automation framework, and also some other integration related tools like Java build tools like Maven or Gradle or Ant, and some code versioning tools like Git or SVN, and some other CI/CD tools like Jenkins, right? So, and finally, we are going to discuss about some tips and tricks, and then some interview preparation also will be provided. Okay, so these are the different concepts we are going to learn during the entire course, guys. So don't worry, we will go through one by one. I mean, day by day. Okay, guys. One request from my side. I hope everyone are on mute. If anyone is not on mute, please be on mute. Whenever you have any doubt. So anyway, I will be providing some. I mean, 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the session for questions and clarifications. During the session, I mean, during while session is going on, if you have any doubt, please ping that in the chat window so that I can look at the end of the course. Okay, so that no one will get disturbed and the session will go very smoothly. That's my humble request. I hope everyone understand. Yeah, so let's get into the details. I think so. As these, I mean, sorry, uh, the initial sessions, like we have to first learn about some theoretical concepts, or we should know some, or we should gain some knowledge on theoretical concepts of the Selenium. Theoretical in the sense, so some concepts like what is Selenium, what is its history, when it came, who developed, who designed, and all these, right? So I will quickly go through those concepts so that, so once the actual, I mean, from day 3 onwards, you will have a complete practical sessions. Like practical in the sense, why we will be showing how to automate different things, and also anyway in Java we will be learning all the technical things. So that classes also will be like very practical. I mean, it's not a theory where I'm going to open some IDE and showing how to write a Java program and all those things. Okay, yeah. So let me open this. Just a moment. Just a moment. Hmm, sorry guys. Just I'm trying to make it. New slide information is not required. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So let's get started. So as part of, so I divided entire course into three things, guys. One is so Selenium core concepts. I mean, the basic Selenium concepts, and then Java, and then Selenium advanced concepts. So this is how we are going to learn. So initially, I will start with Selenium core concepts because as the main course is for Selenium, right? So I will first teach you some basics about are the core concepts of Selenium, and then we'll jump on to Java concepts, and then again back to Selenium concepts, core plus advanced concepts. That's how we'll go ahead. So let's have the main drive of Selenium WebDriver. Before that, The first main thing is let's try to understand the history of the Selenium when it came into the market, who designed or who developed this particular tool. Okay, so as I mentioned in the demo session itself, Selenium itself is not a single tool. Okay, Selenium is not a single tool. It's a suite of different tools. So there are four different tools or components it has. So and each one was developed by a different person. Developed or work done by different person. So if you see in the history, I mean, in the entire Selenium history, so 2004 is the year where Selenium came into the market, and the Selenium that the because the name of the Selenium also, like initially it was Selenium 1.0, or we also call it as Selenium RC. Selenium RC is nothing but Selenium remote control, which was developed by a person called Jason Huggins. So he is from, actually he was working for a company called ThoughtWorks. So part of his internal project, he started working on a tool called Selenium. Initially they named it as Selenium 1.2 or Selenium RC, or else there was one more name also, like JavaScript engine actually. So they started with a simple name as JavaScript engine, then later they renamed it to Selenium 1.2 or RC. I also will tell you why Selenium. I mean, the Selenium itself is an chemical name, right? Chemical element name. I will also tell you how this name came. Then after 2004, once it was developed by Jason Huggins, and then they named it as Selenium 1.0 or RC. Then in the after 2 years, actually, like 2006, so there is a person from Google actually. Okay, so there is a technical developer from Google called Simon Stewart. He was the person. He started working on a standalone project called WebDriver. Okay, so in the year of 2006, he started working on a tool, or the generally we also call it as API. Started working on API called WebDriver. So in the same year 2006, so there is one more person called Shinya Kastani. He was the person who developed another component of Selenium called Selenium IDE. Okay. So total there are four components: Selenium RC, Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Okay, and in the 2009 actually, like in the 2009, so this person, right, Simon Stewart, they and the other developers wanted to deprecate or decommission the Selenium 1.0. Okay, like Selenium RC, and they merged some of the features of Selenium RC into WebDriver project, and they renamed Selenium into Selenium 2.0, or simply Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so from 2009 onwards, we generally call it as Selenium WebDriver. So after 2019, we don't have any Selenium 1.0, because they have already merged Selenium 1.0 features into Selenium WebDriver, and they rename it to Selenium WebDriver. Then uh, in the year of 2016, I mean, they still after 2000, sorry, after Selenium 2.0, they introduced they rolled out different versions like 2.1, 2.2, something like that. So then the major versions like 3.0 of Selenium was released in the year of 2016, and the other major or stable version of Selenium 4.0 is was recently released in the 2021, in the last year itself. Okay, so if you see the year, I mean, version to version, they were adding a different features to the tool, and also they were fixing some issues which that particular version has. Okay, so eventually they were adding some new features to the tool. So now currently we have the version Selenium 4.0, the I mean the parent version anyway. So recently they released 4.0.1, but the stable version is 4.2. Okay, so where to check all these versions are, I mean, what is the latest version of that? Selenium itself has one official website that is called selenium.dev, guys. Let me open that. Selenium.dev dev basically. So this is the official site of Selenium. So if at all we want to download any libraries, or we want to check or verify what is the latest version of Selenium, then we can come to this particular site, and then you can see, so these are the different things: Selenium WebDriver, Selenium IDE, and Selenium Grid. Because initially Selenium has 4 different components. Later that Selenium RC was merged into Selenium WebDriver, and it became Selenium Simple Selenium WebDriver. And Selenium IDE itself is a separate tool, which is for basically for record and playback our actions. And then Selenium Grid is basically for distributing our test cases, I mean distribution testing. And if you see the version, if at all you want to uh, check the latest version of Selenium, either you can go here, or you can click on this downloads. And if you see latest stable version of Selenium Grid, Selenium Grid includes Selenium WebDriver as well. So it's simply Selenium server. So 4.1.1. Okay, and also it has different libraries. For suppose for Internet Explorer, which has a different driver called IE driver. Don't worry about all this. I will discuss what are all different drivers we have. And also Selenium, suppose someone wants to learn Selenium with Java, so you can download the Java library from here. So the stable version is 4.1.1, which was released in December 17th, 2021. Okay, so don't worry about all these drivers information. We will eventually learn all those things in our course. So this is all about the brief history about Selenium, guys. Okay, like it came into the market in 2004 actually. Okay, and then uh, why this name came? Okay, so why the Selenium name came? Because if you see in the market that during 2000 early years of 2000, like 2001 2, so we had one tool called I mean QTP. So that was one of the automation tools, the oldest automation tools we had earlier. Now they renamed it to UFT actually, Unified Functional Testing Tool. Earlier it was, I mean, the name was like QTP. So it was initially developed by a company called Mercury. Okay, the Mercury name also, the Mercury company was acquired by other company called HP later. So that's where now HP UFT, earlier Mercury QTP. So the Mercury was the company. So if you see, the Mercury is also a chemical name, right? Like is a substance, chemical substance actually. So during one of the emails was writing to the, I mean, the person, Jason Huggins, he was writing to the team members initially when he was started developing this Selenium RC or Selenium tool. So he just uh, played or cracked a joke, something like that. So you can cure mercury poisoning using selenium substance. Okay, so generally in a chemical world, selenium will cure. I mean, selenium substance actually. Selenium means not a tool. Selenium chemical substance can cure the mercury poisoning. So he want to just counter. He just wanted to give some counter to the competitor or the already established tool, like saying that he wanted to just name it as a selenium, because selenium cures mercury poisoning. That's where, that's how the name came. So then later the team members, others also accepted that, and then they finalized the name as Selenium. So before Selenium, they used to call it as JavaScript engine basically, because Selenium will talk to browser by using its JavaScript. That's a browser's JavaScript actually. Okay, that's where initially they started with JavaScript engine. Then they renamed it to Selenium. Then Selenium 1.0 RC came. Then Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid is one of the other tools available. And Selenium ID is another tool available in as part of our Selenium components. Okay, so this is all about Selenium, brief history and how the name came and all. Now let's see what are all different components we have in Selenium. So as I mentioned, right, Selenium is not at all a single tool, and also the tools also like not like a different or a very I mean what to say, like it's not a huge tools, like, so these are a simple components. We cannot also call them as a separate tool, guys. So these are different components of Selenium. So basically Selenium RC, Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. These are the different components we have in Selenium. And you don't worry, I mean, we don't need to learn all four because Selenium RC already deprecated. So we don't have Selenium RC in our market or in the as part of Selenium components, because so they deprecated in the sense they decommissioned that entire Selenium RC features, and some of the features of Selenium RC they merged into a Selenium WebDriver, and then they named it as Selenium WebDriver Selenium 2.2. So that's how. So Selenium WebDriver is the main tool or the most powerful tool or powerful component among all these four components of Selenium, guys. And Selenium IDE is one of the components available in Selenium. This is basically for just record and playback. So it is an add-on to a particular browser. So Selenium IDE is add-on to either Chrome or Firefox browser. You can open that IDE and you can start recording actually using that. And once it starts recording, you can play something. You can play in the sense you can open a browser and do some actions. So backend actually it will record your actions and it will generate a script, and you can again run that and then see whether all the actions were recorded fine or not. So this is basically for record and playback, and this is also for basically for simple learning thing, guys. So generally in a real time no one will use Selenium IDE for their core automation. Okay, so the core test automation no one will use Selenium IDE. So this is basically for a simple learning purpose, or uh, whoever wants to start their automation journey and they are coming from non-technical background. So initially they can play with Selenium IDE. So they will come to know with some commands and all. So that's it. But don't worry. Anyway I will show you what is Selenium IDE in what all different commands will be there, how to record and playback and all those. Okay, but just remember Selenium IDE alone cannot automate your entire web application. So Selenium IDE is just for learning purpose. So Selenium WebDriver is the main uh, component of all these. I mean, among all four components, and it is the most powerful tool. Using this, you can automate your web application. So it also followed the basic object-oriented concepts in it while designing, so that it can use to automate your browser applications. We also call it as web applications. And the other component is Selenium Grid basically. So this is another tool or another component which is basically used for distribution testing. So distribution testing is nothing but, suppose you have huge number of test cases like 1,000 or more than that, then uh, you want to make your automation run very faster or quicker, then you can create a Selenium Grid. So initially, I mean, basically it will have hub and node concepts. I showed one diagram in the demo also, guys. So generally, so hub will have a different nodes configured to it, and hub will have the total number of test cases which are going to be executed, like 1,000 or 1,000 plus. Then once you start the execution, so the hub will distribute all the test cases to the node missions. Okay, and then so that it will run those test cases in parallel, so that your execution will be faster, your test execution. So for that purpose, we use Selenium Grid. So don't worry, I will show you how to configure this and how the execution will happen and all. Okay, but so this is all about Selenium components. What are different components we have in Selenium? Anyway, I will directly jump into Selenium ID and WebDriver, guys. Selenium RC. I mean, there is no Selenium RC actually because that has been deprecated. Now, before going to Selenium WebDriver advantages, let me discuss about Selenium RC architecture. Okay. So because there was one architecture for Selenium RC basically. So if you see this simple diagram here, so this is our sorry, web server. Web server is basically where your web application has been hosted. Okay, and this is your browser from where you are accessing your web application by simply providing some URL. And this is your Selenium server. So this is nothing but your Selenium RC component. Okay, so this is your Selenium RC component. You have to start it before you are running your Selenium RC scripts. Okay, so this is a simple IDE where you have written or you have created some RC scripts. So whenever you start your RC scripts, okay, so before you run your RC scripts, there is one uh, uh, there is one prerequisite, like you have to start your Selenium server. Without starting Selenium server component, you cannot run your RC scripts. There is a limitation in that. Okay, so once you run your RC scripts, so these RC scripts will internally talk to your Selenium server. Selenium server will internally talk to the browser, and it will perform the actions whatever that particular script has. Suppose the script has some commands or some command, something like open browser, launch application, and suppose go to login page, enter username, enter password, and click on submit button. So these are some actions we have already automated using Selenium RC scripts. So then whenever we start running, right, this Selenium server will delegate the actions to the browser by using internal JavaScript, and then it will run. Suppose open browser, right, it will open the browser, and then launch application, it will enter URL into here, I mean in the locator. Then whatever actions like enter username, password, all those actions will be performed. So internally, this web browser, whatever web application we are interacting with, right, that internally will talk to the actual web application wherever it hosted in the web server. Okay, so this is how communication happens, and the backward communication is something something like, just a minute. So backward communication, nothing but, so whatever action we are performing, so the web application will also send some data back to the web application. And suppose I want to read some text from the web application, then it will send that text back to the script, and we can simply do some validations whether the text is present or not. Okay, so this is how actually the Selenium RC works. So the basic, if you see the entire process, this Selenium server is the main thing which is to be opened before even start running your automation scripts using Selenium RC. So that's what I mentioned here. The Selenium RC architecture is a bit more complicated because than the WebDriver, because it has another component called Selenium server here. We first need to launch a separate application called Selenium Remote Control Server. So this is Selenium Remote Control Server, and the Selenium RC first injects a JavaScript program called Selenium Core. Okay, so this particular RC component or server, it will inject a JavaScript program called Selenium Core into browser uh, browser whenever our Selenium RC script execution starts. So suppose, as I mentioned, it use JavaScript program called Selenium Core to interact with your browser or application. That program called Selenium Core, and browser will read and understand the instructions anyway, and then it will perform the actions based on the commands it has given. And server will get response from the browser, and then it will give us the results. Like it will send the response back to the server. Server will send back to the our script, and will simply validate our things. So this is how this Selenium RC will work. You don't worry anyway. Selenium RC is not at all there now, but we have to understand how the Selenium architecture, Selenium RC architecture has been designed, and what were the limitations it has. And then in the next component like Selenium WebDriver, how they overcome those limitations. Okay, now let's see what is Selenium uh, WebDriver architecture quickly. I mentioned here, yeah. So what is Selenium WebDriver architecture? So Selenium, if you see the diagram itself, it is very simple. I mean, there is no Selenium RC component here or server component here, right? So that's where Selenium WebDriver architecture is very simple if you compare it with the Selenium RC. So here, whenever we start running our WebDriver scripts, I mean nothing but Selenium WebDriver scripts, the WebDriver scripts will directly talk to the browser. Okay, it doesn't need any intermediate or middleware component called Selenium server. So by using browser's JavaScript inbuilt, suppose each browser, each web browser like Chrome or IE or Edge or Safari or Firefox, right? So each browser will have its own inbuilt support for JavaScript, guys. So using that JavaScript, our WebDriver scripts will directly talk to the browser, and it will perform the actions directly, like clicking, entering text, and all. And then internally, this web application will talk to the web server where the actual web application has been hosted. And response also will send back to browser will send back to the tool, our WebDriver script. So this is where WebDriver architecture is very simple. As if you see, so there is no middle component called server. So our WebDriver scripts or the commands will directly talk to the browser by using browser's inbuilt support for JavaScript actually. Okay, so that's what I mentioned here also. Like Selenium WebDriver directly communicates to the browser using each browser's inbuilt support for automation. That is nothing but JavaScript. So each browser has a inbuilt support for JavaScript. So using that, it will interact with the browser or web applications. It controls browsers from OS level. I mean, whatever operating system or wherever we open the browser, right? Suppose in Windows machine or in Linux or some other iOS machine. So it controls browser from the OS level. Okay. So the main advantage of Selenium WebDriver is you don't need to start any server or software before you are executing your automation scripts. Okay. As your browser, as your script, it will directly talk to the browser using inbuilt support of JavaScript. Okay. So this is all about Selenium WebDriver architecture, guys. Now let's see. Let me go back to the advantages of Selenium. Okay. Because see, there are multiple, or there are n number of tools available in the market, guys. So Selenium is one of it actually. So there are multiple n number of tools. I mean, even if you see nowadays, so every 1 year or every quarter, you see there are new tools are coming to the market actually. So among all these tools available in the market, why Selenium has become very popular? Okay, let's try to understand by I mean, something what are the different benefits or the advantages we have while using Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so one of the most or the best features of the Selenium is like it's an open source automation tool, guys. Open source automation tool is nothing but, I mean, in the name itself, right? Open source, nothing but the source code of particular tool is open to all. Okay, the source code which was written for this particular tool is open to all. You can download that source code. Is nothing but a libraries. You can download those, and then you can use as part of your test automation. That's where you don't need to purchase any license, or you don't need to I mean, purchase a license and then try, or also a trial version. Uh, all these nonsense won't be there actually. Like, so you have to install trial version and then purchase a license, and you have to renew the license every 1 year or something, right? So all those things won't be there in case of Selenium, because it's an open source tool. Anyone can go to selenium.dev site and download the libraries and then start using your for your automation needs. Okay, then next advantage of Selenium is it supports multiple browsers. It's not limited to only one browser. So you can run your automation scripts in either Chrome, whatever popular browsers we have in the market, like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Microsoft Edge, or IE, or Safari, Opera, even I mean Mac Safari and all. So it supports multiple browsers. But if you see, there are some tools which are limited to only one or two browsers. But Selenium supports multiple browsers. You can run your automation scripts and check your application against your, I mean, browser compatibility. Suppose you want to check some test cases which are working in all the browsers, fine or not. So in such cases, you can use Selenium and then run your test case in available 4 or 5 different popular browsers. And another important thing is it supports multiple operating systems. That means, suppose you have automated your application using a Windows machine. Okay, you have written a scripts, Selenium scripts in Windows machine, and same scripts can be executed in other operating system like Linux or Unix, or even Apple Mac iOS operating system as well. So that is nothing but create once and run anywhere. Okay, suppose you can create your automation scripts in Windows machine, and then you can run the same automation scripts in a different machine, different operating system like Linux, Unix, and iOS. And another important thing is it supports multiple programming languages. So generally, any automation tool, it requires one programming language. Okay, because a tool itself, or a tool alone cannot automate the things. So it needs a programming language support. Okay, so Selenium, that's why Selenium supports multiple programming language. It's not limited to one or two. Suppose if you see, there is another popular tool available in the market called UFT, that is nothing but QTP or other tools as well. So those are limited to one or two languages, guys. So UFT or QTP, it limited to only VB script. That programming language you have to learn. But when it comes to Selenium, it supports multiple programming languages like Java, Python, even C sharp, that is nothing but .NET, and Ruby, and even JavaScript. It supports multiple programming languages. If you are good at one particular language like Java or Python, you can start your Selenium automation using that particular language. Okay, and it supports multiple frameworks, guys. Like there are multiple frameworks available in the market, like for unit testing, something like JUnit or TestNG, and there are different types of frameworks like hybrid frameworks, or even Cucumber itself is one of the frameworks available, right? Serenity, BDD, all these frameworks can be integrated or can be used as part of your Selenium automation. And final thing is, it's very simple to learn and it's easy to implement. Okay, so you can learn this Selenium very I mean easily, because it hardly has uh, 30 to 40 predefined classes, guys. So Selenium, because we are going to learn with Java, right? So generally that's where I'm going to tell you in classes wise. Like suppose, so there are hardly predefined classes, some 30 to 40 predefined classes are there. So using if you are good at those classes and the methods which all the classes have, then you can learn the entire Selenium. Okay, so sorry. So this is all about the basic advantages of Selenium which we have, and uh, as well as we have advantages, there are some limitations to the Selenium as well, guys. Okay, let's try to understand what are the limitations we have. So if you see, even during our demo class also I mentioned, Selenium can automate or can talk to only the web applications. So we cannot automate a Windows-based applications or mainframe based applications or some other flavor applications. So Selenium can be used only to automate web applications. Web applications are nothing but the applications which we open in web browser using internet. Okay, so only those applications can be automated by using Selenium. It doesn't support any other applications, non-web web-based applications. But anyway, don't worry. So nowadays, if you see, guys, so 99% of the applications are web applications because as the internet spread across the world, so the clients are the stakeholders. They want to release their applications as a web flavor. I mean, web application, so that it can reach maximum users. So that's where. So most of the applications now we have in our market are web applications. And as Selenium cannot be used for automatic, we need a particular programming language. So that's where it is one of the I cannot say disadvantage or limitation, but we need to have a programming language knowledge if at all you want to use Selenium. Selenium alone cannot be used for automation. And one more limitation it has is it doesn't have any direct reporting inbuilt reporting capability, guys. In the sense, so after running your Selenium scripts alone, it won't generate any report actually. So we will use another open source reporting tools or the even the different frameworks to generate a report. Suppose there is one popular framework called TestNG. We can integrate TestNG to our Selenium script, and then we can run our test case and get the basic report. And there are other reporting tools like Extent, Allure reports, or you can even design and develop a custom report also using some Java thing, guys. Okay, that's it. But one limitation it has is it doesn't have any inbuilt reporting capability. Okay, Selenium alone cannot generate reports. And another limitation is as it is a open source tool, as it is open source tools, there won't be any proprietary or any communities which will be working for addressing the issues in the Selenium, guys. Right? Suppose if there is a commercial tool or there is a uh, commercial tool is there, then you have to purchase the license. And if you have any issues in that, generally you will go to the support team of that particular tool, right? Saying that it's not working, I need some help from this. But in case of Selenium, we don't have such a team or support team for addressing our issues. But so there are larger communities or bloggers are discussing about our Selenium. And even Selenium official website is there, where you can simply, I mean, not in Selenium official website, where if you just go to the Google and then paste your question, I mean, just post your question, you will get lot of responses. Okay, as it's not a commercial tool, guys. And another limitation is like, so uh, suppose there are some test management tools available, right? Like Jira or what else, ALM, even Rails or something. There are different test management tools are there. So there is no direct support from Selenium to support those tools. Okay, and other limitations in a real time, if you see, uh, the first limitation anyway, it has been addressed in the latest version of Selenium, guys, 4.2. So I noted down this long back, but anyway, I am going to strike out this. Like handling Windows authentication pop-up for specific lower environments can be now automated using Selenium 4.0, the latest version. This is not at all a limitation now. And file upload controls cannot be automated because there are that also like one kind of file upload controls, guys. So file upload controls will be at different types. So suppose some file upload controls, if you click on a particular file upload control, one Windows pop-up will come. So as Selenium cannot automate Windows things, right? So that's where that particular kind of file upload control cannot be automated. But there are some workarounds, alternate workarounds to automate that as well. But Selenium alone cannot automate such file upload controls. And Flash objects. But Flash is anyway one of the oldest technologies. Now no one using Flash as part of any application development. So anyway, Selenium doesn't support Flash objects. It cannot automate Flash object. But don't worry. So there are very old applications with Flash technology. But now the even at least in from past 5 to 6 years, no one is using Flash as part of their application development. And captchas and barcode readers cannot be tested using Selenium. Okay, so captcha in the sense, suppose you see, right, whenever you are logging into any particular site, for security purpose they keep a captcha, like captcha with some characters or some alphanumeric characters or some images they show, and then they are asking users to enter it and then log in. So because the main purpose of captcha are the barcode readers having in the application to avoid automation, right? Suppose if there is no captcha, some hackers can easily log into their application n number of times and they can increase the traffic over there, I mean network traffic. Like that they can hack the application or the data of that particular application. That's where, so these captchas or barcode readers cannot be automated by using any tool basically. Okay, so these are the basic limitations we have, guys, in Selenium. Okay, I think let me stop here for today, guys, because it's basically a theoretical sessions, right? So people, I mean, generally interest levels will be very less. That's where I'm not going to extend this anymore, because anyway from tomorrow onwards, we will learn about Selenium IDE. It will be purely technical. I will show you how to install or how to add a Selenium IDE add-on to your browser, how to write a simple, how to record a particular test case and then run it and all what all different commands. All those we'll discuss in the tomorrow's class. So tomorrow's class mainly for Selenium IDE, guys. Once Selenium IDE is done, so I will also discuss about the differences between different components, and then we'll directly jump into our Java concepts, mostly in couple of days. Okay, so Java classes will be there for almost 10 to 12 days, and then once we are good at Java, we'll again come back to the core concepts of our Selenium, like how to automate different elements in the browser and all. So these are the main concepts of Selenium. Okay, I hope you guys have this particular document, course content, or else you can reach out to Career IT team. They will share with you so that you can refer whatever, I mean, topics which we are doing as part of daily, I mean, day-wise course content. Yeah, so that's all from my side for today, guys. Let me leave for questions. If you guys have any questions, we can discuss here now. You can unmute yourself and then ask the question, or else if you have any question, you can even post in chat box.
Yeah, hi Ajay. Venkatesh here.
Yes, Venkatesh.
Who will take care of this Java session? Another guy or you only?
No. I will only be teaching Java concepts as well. So Java concepts
Okay.
in that basically the core Java concepts only. As I mentioned in the demo also, right? So we don't require the advanced concepts of Java. So we just need the basic Java concepts which are required for our Selenium test automation.
Okay. Okay. That's
Any other questions, guys? And one more thing is like, so every day session will be recorded, and then the video recording will be shared across, guys, once the session is over by end of the day actually, like by today EOD you will get the recorded session, so that you can refer back, and then if at all, so even for whenever you are doing some hands on also, you can refer back that particular day session, and then you can work on it. And also, as I mentioned, right, so it is not just a regular course, guys. I'm not going to just teach and then leave, right? So what I will do, right, so suppose after set of concepts are done, or at the end of the week or something, I will be providing some assignments. So don't worry, those are not a complex assignments. So very simple assignments, which that also like on the topics which we discussed during that week. So that, so in weekend you guys can do some hands-on experience. I mean, you gain some hands-on experience by simply working on those assignments. Okay, so because just learning concepts won't help you or won't make you master in that particular tool, guys. So you have to practice a lot. Then only you will understand the concepts in a better way. So even uh, not only my classes, even once the classes are done, you can just Google it, and then I mean, do some analysis on that particular concepts, and also learn extra things on that particular concept, because I'm going to give mainly basic things about that particular concepts, and sometimes I will also extend and then provide some other insights of that particular concepts. But so even if at all you want to uh, go extra mile and then learn different things, you can even uh, go and then Google it and then learn those things. So because why, because I'm saying, right, so just learning won't help. Uh, you have to do some hands-on, and also get some knowledge on your own, like not only the from the class, even outside the class you can gain some knowledge, do some analysis and all those things. That's where you will learn the things faster, and then uh, in a better manner actually. Okay, I got one question. When is our practical session will be started? So tomorrow anyway, kind of a practical session only we will be having, like Selenium IDE I'm going to show you, where I will show you how to use the Selenium IDE tool to record and playback our things. And once this, I mean, basic things is done, anyway, Java classes will be completely practical sessions, where you are going to learn different concepts Java, and we are going to discuss different programs, different real-time examples. All those we will be discussing. And once Java classes also over, the Selenium core concepts also will be very practical, guys. Here also, every day we are going to write, or we are going to automate a different application, and also the applications are the examples which I'm going to take is kindly purely real-time applications, so that you guys also can use those applications and then automate. So another question, like, do we get notes for this class? Not exactly. We are not going to provide any notes actually, I mean running notes. So you guys can note down during the session, but at the end of the entire session, I will be providing some tutorials or some books about Selenium actually, like where you can refer back some documents. All those things will have some knowledge of Selenium. But during the session, we won't provide a notes, like, because I like online classes, right? Like it's not like a traditional offline or the classes where we ask us to write a class or something, right? So that's where there won't be any notes provided, guys. So you can manage yourself by writing some notes while class is going on. But as I mentioned, so I promise something like I will provide some tutorials, or even some actual Selenium documentation files, so that you can refer those. So as part of deliverables also, we will be providing multiple things. Anyway, recordings will be there, and all the tutorials or documents will be providing, and some sample resumes about Selenium will be provided, and also whatever the programs we have written as part of classes, right? Suppose whatever examples I have taken as part of a course, those examples also will be shared. Examples in the sense, so that Java project will be shared across at the end of the course. Okay. And also please don't ask like uh, during the classes like I need I mean the documentation or the even the slides which I am showing here, because I don't want to share this. Otherwise you guys will go through, and then I mean I don't encourage actually. So but at the end of the course I will be providing whatever examples I am discussing as part of the course, and also the documents, and also the and also as part of this course we are designing one simple basic framework also using page object model. That sample framework also will be zipped and shared actually, all those. Yeah, any other questions guys? Okay, I hope no questions. Yeah, yeah. If there are no questions, I think we are good to close. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. So catch up tomorrow at the same time, 7 a.m. IST. We will discuss on Selenium ID concepts. Yeah, see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.